Welcome back to Where's the Money? So the money has been moving around, or the tariffs, should I say, have been moving around. The negotiations have not been going well. I thought we had a deal with the EU. Apparently those preliminary deals is not going well. Trump did a post threatening a 50% tariff if they don't agree to what he wants in the deal. And that's going to start when? June 1st.
He went on to say, therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1st of 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States. So again, this is a huge development, Sarah, because of course, the European Union is one of the biggest, they're not one country, but bloc that the United States and this Trump administration has been trying to negotiate with. We actually saw the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, come to the White House earlier, a couple weeks ago, to really negotiate on behalf of the European Union, because she, unlike a lot of different European countries, has a really good relationship with the United States. And there was a thought process that perhaps she could be the one to kind of assuage some of the president's big frustrations that he has with the EU. As of now, clearly, it sees that those negotiations have not been going well, that they are stalled. And rather than waiting for the end of that 90-day period, remember, the president initially, when he had put on these different tariffs, these reciprocal tariffs for all of these different countries, he said when he paused them that he would give them 90 days to negotiate these. Now the president is moving up the timeline specifically for the EU because he is very frustrated with how he argues they are treating them for trade.
Now, if that wasn't enough, Trump also went on a tangent and the threat against Apple. Tim Cook, the CEO over there at Apple, he had sent him a direct post talking about if he doesn't start making all of his stuff, all these iPhones, all these Apple products in the US only, they're going to hit Apple with a 25% tariff.
The president didn't just go after the EU, though. He went after a U.S. company, Apple. What are you learning on that?
Yeah, it's clear the president is very focused on trade today, Sarah, because he also posted some sort of warning, really, to Apple CEO Tim Cook. He said that essentially he wrote, quote, I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. He went on to say that if they do not do that, they will be paying a tariff of at least 25%. Now, you mentioned this, Apple already falling roughly 2% in pre-market trading. I note as well that Tim Cook was actually just here at the White House a couple days ago on Tuesday to talk with President Trump. But this has also been something that the president has been very fixated on, wanting Apple to move manufacturing of iPhones back to the United States. Now, primarily, Apple manufactures these iPhones in China, but they've also begun to move some of that production to India because they are in better standing with the United States. They understand where the president's kind of frustrations and potential policies could come from. But this is really an entirely new concept now that we are hearing from the president, that if Apple does not change things and does not change things swiftly, he is going to be placing a 25% tariff on them. All to say, between this and what he is doing with the EU, major moves that are going to have very big consequences, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some of those in the markets today.
Now, as we know, when Trump does stuff like this, the markets react negatively. The futures started crashing. The market has dipped down a bit. The uncertainty the market thought was behind them due to the 90 days. They thought they had 90 days to at least get some stable trade. Trump has railroaded all of that progress with these current slew of threats. If this actually goes through, we're going to be in for those higher prices starting next month. So obviously shareholders are upset. Average working class individual like myself is upset as well, because these increased prices is a situation that is on everybody's mind, because everything we look at in the news, the media, the reports, the economists, all the stuff is leading to increased prices, and we don't know how long that's going to be. when that's going to take place, which feels like soon, and how long that's going to last.
Donald Trump just announced a 50% tariff on goods coming from Europe. This came in a Truth Social post, so let's break it down. In it, he says, the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, and ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits against American companies, and more have led to a trade deficit with the U.S. of more than $250 million a year, a number which is totally unacceptable. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st, 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This came mere hours after Donald Trump threatened Apple, yes, Apple themselves, with a 25% tariff so they can make their products here in the United States. As a reminder, it's not Apple who will pay all this. It's you and I as a consumer. The same thing when it comes to things brought in from the European Union. And let's also remember that even putting these tariffs and things onto us doesn't really help us bring manufacturing here because it would take 5 to 7 years to build these factories. So ultimately, besides now that big beautiful bill and this, we're in for a world of hurt. That's if he doesn't actually decide not to do this, because, I mean, he is known to do that.
So what do you guys make of this situation? Do you feel like Trump is pushing the needle to save the national debt in order for us to try to get it under control as soon as possible, and that's a good thing? Or do you feel like he's out there fucking up and making it more difficult for the average working class family to survive in this economy? Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.